If you've ever had so many shaving soaps that you had to start racking and stacking, feel free to hit that subscribe button. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a little racking and stacking because I have been tagged by Mr. Arthur Knowles over at Lather Addict to do the If I Could Only Have 5 challenge. And what that challenge is I have to pick 5 shaving soap artisans that I cannot live without. And it has to be based on, I have my iPhone cheat sheet right here. I have to pick one artisan based on scent, selection, sentiment, performance, and value. So those are my criteria. And so I got 5 shaving soaps sitting right here. So we're going to run down the list one by one. So let's get started. All right, we're going to kick things off with the scent category. Now for this one, I had to pick First Line Shave. And you know why? Because First Line Shave has this Blue Label. And this one is amazing. It is inspired by Calvin Klein Eternity. And this is my all-time favorite scent in a shaving soap and has been ever since First Line Blue Label got released. I like this stuff so much, I went out and bought the Eternity for Men Aftershave. I also have the EDT. This stuff is my crack. If I could piss excellence, it would smell like this. So that's going to be my pick for the scent category is First Line Shave Blue Label. Okay, next we have the selection category, and this one was a really tough one for me because there were a few that I had in mind, but at the end I had to pick Ariana and Evans or The Club. And my metric for this was what artisan has the most soaps, the greatest selection of soaps that I actually like the scent of, based on scent alone. So, and that one, once I narrowed it down, it was a no-brainer. It was Ariana and Evans. I mean, there are other shaving soap makers out there that have way more scents than A&E does, but what good does it do me if I don't like most of their scents? So it's going to be Ariana and Evans or The Club. This one just happens to be my personal favorite from their collection. This one is Signature. And this one is a woody tobacco bourbon sort of thing. And I really like this one. This is The Club Signature. So that's my selection pick is Ariana and Evans or The Club. All right, the next one on the list is Sentiment. And this one was easy because it was I picked the first artisan shaving soap I ever bought. Before this, it was all Cella and Taylor of Old Bond Street. Now, not that those are bad, those are great soaps, but once I discovered American artisans making soaps either out of their basement or out of their garage, this was the first one I discovered. It was the first artisan and the first soap. It's Through the Fire, Cuda. And this one is all blackberry and orange and oak moss and mahogany, and I'm going to smell it because it is delightful. You have got to try this. But this is when I discovered artisan soap making, was through the Fire. And this one is Cuda for the sentiment category. Okay, moving on down the line, we have the performance category. Now with this one, I cheated a little bit. I'm going to be perfectly honest because I picked one that might or might not be considered an artisan soap maker, but it is by far and away, the greatest performing soap in my entire collection. It is Castle Forbes, and this one just happens to be $14.45. Shiny thing. So, and this one could be classified as an aromatic fougere, maybe. There's a lot going on here, so all I can say about it is you need to give it a smell. But this stuff is not cheap, but it way overperforms any other soap I have ever seen. However, if you do not consider this to be an Artisan soap. My next pick would be Murphy and McNeil. And this one just happens to be Magh Tured, which is a excellent woody spicy scent that is inspired by Tom Ford Oud Wood. This one knocks my socks off. It is an incredible performing soap, second only to this. So that is my selection for the performance category, is Castle, Forbes, or if you don't like that, Murphy and McNeil. Okay, and last but not least, we have the value category. Now for this one, I almost picked Sterling, and I wanted to. And on a strictly price per ounce basis, they probably would have won. But the soap I did pick had just slightly higher performance, and when I was considering value, I did not consider price alone. So it was price and performance, a combination of price and performance. And for that one, I picked Shannon Soaps. And this one just happens to be Copaiba Rose. Ooh-wee. And this is all Copaiba Balsam and Rose and Jasmine and Sandalwood. And it is quite fresh and delightful. My mom would actually like this. My mom really likes rose-scented stuff, so that is my pick for the value category of Artisan Shaving Soaps, is Shannon Soaps. Great stuff. Okay, and that was my list. Let's do a quick recap. First off, in the scent category, we had First Line Shave Blue Label. And in the selection category, we had the Club or Ariana and Evans signature. The Club and Ariana and Evans are both the same company, by the way. This is just a membership program, is what the Club is. So, and then for sentiment, we have Through the Fire, Cuda. And then for performance, we have Castle, Forbes, or Murphy and McNeil. And then in the value category, we have Shannon Soaps, and this one is Copaiba Rose. So that is my list. I think by the time this tag video got to me, most everybody that I know has already done it. But I'm going to tag the Budget Shaver if he hasn't already done it. And I also want to tag Don Youngner. He is not known for doing videos like this, but I want to pick his brain a little bit. I want to know what he likes. So hopefully I can convince him to do this tag video, and we can learn a little bit about what his artisan preferences are. So, all right, I'm going to drop another tag video into the mix. I was recently tagged by Sig Solo to do the Magnificent 11 challenge, and basically what that challenge is I have to pick 11 razors that I would happily shave with for the rest of my life. So it was either drop it in with the if I could only have 5 challenge, or everybody was going to have to wait nearly 2 months to see it. So this is going to be a rare example of me posting a video out of sequence, because this is actually being filmed after shave number 24. So I am way ahead of where I need to be. So I have a iPhone cheat sheet right here. So these are the 11 categories. Style, budget, underappreciated, premium, sentimental, versatile, classic, daily driver, autopilot, aggressive, and cannot be ignored. So let's get right into this and let's talk about those 11 categories really quickly. Okay, so I actually don't have that many razors. A few months before I started the Soap Thing project, I actually did quite a huge purge of hardware and software. I sold off a bunch of razors and a bunch of soaps and aftershaves, and pretty much eliminated everything I don't really like, and that kind of narrowed it down for me. But right off the bat, we're going to eliminate style, aggressive, and cannot be ignored, because I don't have a razor that I think is stylish, and I do not have a razor that I think cannot be ignored. I used to have charcoal razors, timeless razors, and some higher end stuff like that, but not recently. I don't. And I do have aggressive razors, but I don't have any aggressive razors that I would happily shave with for the rest of my life. I have to be in the mood for them. So now that we have that out of the way, let's start working our way down the list of the categories that we have left. Okay, so for the budget and sentiment category, those are actually going to be filled by the same razor. And that razor is the Gillette Tech. Specifically the fat handle Tech that has the triangular lather slots. I'm not sure if you can see that. But that is indicative of a late 30s to mid 40s Gillette Tech. And the reason this is going in the budget category, here's an example of a razor that I got at an antique store for $5. If you can see that, I don't know if you can see, but the nickel plating has worn off and you can see the brass in there. It's got some pretty serious scratches and some pitting going on the top. And if you loosen the handle, there's actually quite a bit more play than there should be. That's usually an indicator that somebody has been dropping this a lot. But none of that matters. You know why? Because this razor is going to shave my face. And it is going to shave it very, very well. The Gillette Techs, especially the early 40s Techs, have just a touch of positive exposure and positive blade feel. And I think the blade gap is about 0.50, 0.55, 0.56-ish maybe. I have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure it's in the 0.50 to 0.6 range as far as the blade gap. And almost anybody can shave with this. That's what it was designed for. Gillette designed these to be a middle-of-the-road razor to catch as many faces as possible and to get as many people to be able to shave successfully and easily with them. And these you can still get very inexpensive at an antique store. And so I picked it for the budget category. But I also picked it for the sentiment category because this Tech, this exact razor, was my very first safety razor. At the time, I didn't even know that you could buy new safety razors. I knew you could get new blades, but I was so ignorant that I didn't know that there was this whole wet shaving movement going on. I had no idea that you could buy double-edged razors and single-edged razors that were newly produced. I had no idea that you could do that for actually quite a while. And so I thought if you wanted to shave the old-fashioned way, you had to go get an old razor. You had to go to an antique store and find one that was still in really good shape, and then maybe go find somebody like Chris Spencer over at Backroads Gold or Matt Pisarcik over at Razor Emporium if you wanted one to get tuned up or replated. So the Gillette Tech has a firm spot in the budget and the sentiment category here on the Soap Thing Project. Okay, the next category is underappreciated. And in my personal opinion, a razor that I think is very, very underappreciated is going to be another Gillette. It's going to be any Gillette Super Speed, especially ones that are in the Super Speed trio. I don't know why more people don't shave with these, because you've got the blue tip Super Speed, which is supposed to be for mild shavers. You got the flare tip Super Speed, which is for average skin and beard, and then you've got the red tip Super Speed, which is supposed to have more blade gap. The post is thicker, the handle is thicker, and it's supposed to be just a more aggressive shaver, a little bit heavier. My personal favorite is the 1940 style Super Speed. This one just happens to be a 1953 Yankee 3, so third quarter 1953. And I just really like the knurling and the style of this one. And this one is actually in original condition, and it works almost perfectly. The action gets stuck a little bit because it needs some mineral oil, but I really like the Gillette Super Speeds. And I don't know why more people don't shave with them. It's a little more efficient than the Tech, just a little bit. So if the tech isn't doing it for you, but you want to stay in the vintage Gillette realm, you might consider a super speed. And somebody told me that the 1940s style super speed is actually even a little bit more efficient than the flare tip that came after it. So take that with a grain of salt. I don't know. I haven't paid attention enough to really make any serious comparisons, but 1940s style super speed. And any super speed that came before it or after it is going to be my pick for the underappreciated category today. Okay, next category is going to be the premium category. Now, as I stated earlier, I recently sold off most of my premium razors. But of the very few that remain, the one that I would happily shave with the rest of my life has to be the Haircut and Shave N075. And this is not cheap. I think I paid more than $200 for this one. But it is machined in the USA, 0.75 millimeter blade gap, neutral blade exposure. The head on this one is 303 stainless steel. The handle is actually non-standard, but it is from Haircut and Shave. It's 316 stainless steel. And this one is more forgiving than it feels, if that makes any sense. It's got neutral blade exposure, so you're not going to do a ton of damage unless you're really trying to be a troublemaker, but it does feel a little more aggressive than it actually is, in my personal opinion. So this one is extremely high quality. It is extremely well made, very well polished. There's not a scratch on it, at least none that I can see. And it came out of the box just in immaculate and perfect condition. So for the premium category, that's going to be my personal pick, is the Haircut and Shave N075. Okay, moving on down the line to the versatile category. Now, for this one, I got to give it to the Rockwell 6S. And the reason is because it comes with 3 of these base plates. And every one of them has a different blade gap, and you can flip it over and change it. So you can tailor it to different spots on your face, or you can... one of the things I like about it is if somebody wants to try traditional shaving for the first time, DE shaving for the first time, I can give them this, and they can make it whatever they need it to be. So they can really have a good idea of, is this for them? Because a lot of times people will start out with razors that are not good for them, and then they'll leave the hobby entirely. So I think this is very valuable just for that reason alone, is because people will pick this up and they can dial it in. So I could have picked a lot of different adjustable razors, but this one I thought was the most innovative, in my personal opinion. Now, I will say this. This is made in the USA. It is metal injection molded. It is my personal opinion that if you're going to get one of these, pick it up used or wait for a coupon code to come out. Do not pay full price for this. That's the only bad thing I'm going to say about it, is I do not believe that this rises to the level of a $100 razor. And I have had 3 of these because people keep trying it and they like it so much that they buy it from me. So, and every one I get is either used or I get a coupon code. So that's what I'm going to recommend for this one. But the Rockwell 6S for the versatile category. Okay, the next category is going to be the classic category. And for this one, it was between the Gillette Fat Boy and the Gillette Slim Adjustable. And I chewed over which one I wanted to pick for a while. But I decided to err on which one was the most useful and provided the best shave. And for that one, I picked the Gillette Slim Adjustable. And this one is a 1965, Kilo 4 is the date code on this. So 4th quarter 1965. And this is a Razor Emporium replate. I got this locally at a I cannot think today. At an antique store. I'm sorry. I got it at an antique store for not a lot of money. I think I paid $35 for it. It was in really good shape here in the greater St. Louis metropolitan area where I'm currently located. And there is just something about this. This is the quintessential 1960s razor. I mean, it is just so old school looking, and it's a great shaver because the butterfly doors are a little flatter when they're closed. You can get it underneath your nose better than the 195 Fat Boy adjustable. But this one, if I had to pick one from the classic category, it would be this. So, the Gillette Slim adjustable for the classic category. Okay, moving on down the line. The next category is going to be the daily driver category. And for that one, it was between the Mamba and the Lupo from RazoRock. And at one point, I had the daily driver and the autopilot categories flipped, but I decided that the Lupo made a better daily driver razor than a autopilot razor. So I guess that tells you what the next one is going to be. The autopilot category is going to be the Mamba. We'll talk about that in a second. But the RazoRock Lupo, specifically the Lupo 72. I like this razor so much that I have 2 of them. One of them stays here in my shave den at all times, and the other one is one that goes with me if I'm like going on vacation or if the Air Force sends me on a deployment. I take the other one. So, and the thing about the Lupo 72 is that, at least from what I can tell from shaving with it, is if you want to be introduced to a moderate amount of positive exposure and positive blade feel, but you don't want something that's going to hack your face apart, this is a good way to go. Because this provides a surprisingly forgiving shave considering quite how much blade feel it has. Normally I don't like a ton of blade feel, or a ton of positive blade exposure, excuse me. But with this one, for some reason, it just works. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. There are 3 things that go into how a razor is going to shave for you. One of them is blade gap, blade exposure, and cap and guard geometry. And all 3 of those things are working together in such a way that it provides a shave with a moderate amount of positive exposure, but it's a little less efficient than you might think it would be. So it's not going to cause a lot of razor burn or a lot of cuts during your shave. At least that's what I've noticed. So the RazoRock Lupo is going to be my pick for the daily driver category. Okay, last but not least, I'm sorry I spoiled it for you, but it's going to be the RazoRock Mamba for the autopilot razor for me for this category. And this one is the Mamba 70, 0.70 millimeter blade gap. So this one is one of those razors where I can shave and I just don't have to really think about it. Especially if I get a good blade. Like if I put an Astra in here, I can pretty much do whatever the heck I want. You know, I could shave with this and pay 0 attention and it would probably give me a fairly good shave. So normally I'm not an autopilot shaver. I'm a very focused shaver. At least I think so. But I had to kind of look around my den and it's like, you know what? If I were going to do a zombie shave and just not even think about it, which one would I pick? And it was hard for a while, and I narrowed it down to, like I said, the Lupo and the Mamba. And finally I decided that the Mamba, if I were going to do a zombie shave, would probably be the one I would do it with. So RazoRock Mamba 70. One more thing. Like I said, this one is the 0.70 millimeter blade gap. This is very, very mild for my personal taste. So I can't imagine how mild the 53 would be, the 0.53 millimeter blade gap. But just know that I have the 70, and even it is a little mild for my particular taste. So that's why I picked it. So the Mamba for the autopilot category. Okay, let's do a quick recap. So for the budget and sentiment category, we have the Gillette Fat Handled Tech. For the underappreciated category, we have the Gillette Super Speed. For the premium category, we got the Haircut and Shave N075. For the versatile category, we got the Rockwell 6S. For the classic category, we have the one, the only, the Gillette Slim Adjustable. For the daily driver category, we have the RazoRock Lupo. And then for the Autopilot category, we have the Razorock Mamba. Okay, and I think that does me for the If I Could Only Have 5 challenge and the Magnificent 11 challenge. Now, of the content creators that I am subscribed to, I found 2 that don't look like they've done it yet from looking at their feed. So I want to tag Anthony Vincent and CB Shaves to do the Magnificent 11 challenge. So that'll be the end of the video for today. I want to thank everybody for watching, and until next time, this is Soap Thing wishing everybody a great shave. I'll see you next time.